Okay, folks, welcome back to another killer edition of Opaleye Presents Know Your Pros. And today, our guest, a local boy, we have Andres Garcia. He is the owner and operator of GS Wiring and Connections. You can even say GSWC for your audio and video technology. He is serving clients in Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Los Angeles County, but makes his home in Oxnard. Andres, it is a pleasure to see you today, my friend.
No, pleasure is mine, and definitely glad to be here because everybody needs to know your pros.
All right, it's catching on, man. I love this. We seem to be making a name for ourselves, man. But you have too, here in Ventura County, and your business is in Oxnard. So tell the viewers, I mean, like, how was it that you got into all the services that you do? You got TV mounting, you do home theaters, patio speakers, security cameras, Wi-Fi expansion. I heard there was like a little story with some television pixie dust when you were a kid. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I've been doing wirings for the last going on 13 years now. Um, yeah, the quick story behind that is as a kid, I broke in two TVs in the early 90s, and my mom would tell the story to the family members, and one of my nephews brought it up as a cool little thing, like me having some kind of powers or magical TV stuff that came into me because I broke the TVs. My nephew's like, "Hey, uncle, now that you work on TVs and stuff, maybe when you were a kid and you broke those TVs, the power of the TVs, you absorbed it somehow, some way, and probably I've been doing wiring." I said for audio for TV and homes for 13 years. As a teenager, I would mess with the wires for speakers and cars with my older cousins. So that's kind of how it originated it.
Gotcha. So kind of like a Peter Parker getting bit by the spider sort of deal. I dig that, man. I dig that.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. I want to think so too.
So you sort of harness this affinity for, taking the screwdriver, opening that thing up and learning how things work, which sounds to me like why this sort of industry attracted you. But in terms of like why you got into business for yourself, Andres, like what was that story? When did you stop and think, man, I got to make my own thing here?
Yeah. So when I started, I never thought about opening my own business. Um, I worked for this cable company in the county, and at that moment I was in Santa Barbara, Montecito area. I get to this house and it's being built up, and there's so many wires, anywhere from low voltage to high voltage, electricians to the audio and video guys. And I approached the guy that was working with speaker wires and TVs, and I tell him what's going on. He's like, "Well, this was in 2011." He's like, "You know about smartphones?" And I said, "Yes." He's like, "Well, there's going to be a smart house," and at that time, smart things were not heard of yet. Alexa and all these things were not heard of
Yeah.
yet.
Hmm.
So a light flickered in my head. I was like, I want to learn this part of the industry, the wiring part of the industry of the smart home things. He took me under his wing. I picked up from there, and then it started accumulating with more and more information, more equipment knowledge uh, of TVs, speakers, security cameras, and the wiring that goes behind it. A lot of people don't, everybody sees the end result, but not the work behind it. And that's where a lot of the wiring comes in.
Right. And I mean, from understanding and knowing your work as a pro, right? It seems like everything that you put together is so integrated. So kind of, you don't even notice it, but it's right there, whether it's that connection that you have with your Alexa or your Sonos speaker or that TV that you hid the wires on, right? I mean, like this stuff is your expertise. And I mean, more than ever right now, that stuff is becoming just a greater integration, a greater part of life. It's really important, man. Um, so you're the guy that people have to call when those smart home issues come into play or those smart home integrations rear their heads, man. So, Andres, why is it that somebody should call GSWC before that next guy, man? Why you over the competition out there?
Yeah, so the basic understanding and knowledge I have with all the work that entitles TV mounting speaker security cameras, I'm able to explain that to customers. I've had so many calls where their uncle, their cousin, their brother is handy and installs a TV on the wall, but it doesn't look well. There's glare. It doesn't work well for the streaming content. Uh, and where this customer goes to the big store, buys a TV, that big store offers a service to mount it and or set it up. And just last week, this customer called me like, "Hey, I don't need you anymore. This big store that I bought the TV from is gonna come and set it up." Well, she calls me 2 days after that. She's like, "Oh, they didn't set it up. They just took it out of the box and they didn't mount it." Well, I offer everything. I could buy. I even sell the TVs. I'm an authorized leader for so many brands. I could get the TVs mounted and make sure that it has all the bells and whistles for you, from TVs to speakers to security cameras. I'm a local guy. So many people. I'm available same day sometimes.
Right. Well, I mean, before we started shooting this thing, right? I loved like your little uncle story, and the story about like the geniuses or the Geek Squad at um, Best Buy or something like that. Is that they're gonna leave you with like four different remotes for four different devices. What Andres does is puts that all into one convenient and really simple to use package. It's gonna make your life that much easier. And rather than, talking to the Geek Squad and then never hearing from them again, I'm sure that your customers have your cell phone, they can call you anytime to figure out what might be going wrong. But that's not often because you do it right the first time. That's my understanding here.
That's correct. Yes, of course. I offer all-in-one remote for speaker setup. Anybody can set up a speakers outside, but if they don't have the right processor behind it, the right app integration behind it, it might not work the best. And that's what I offer. And of course, every customer calls me anytime. I'm able to answer on the weekends, late nights, early mornings, and set up an appointment and be able to help them over the phone.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, that's what you're going to get with GSWC for your audio and video technology. So before we wrap this puppy up, Andres, tell our viewers where they can find you and your business at GS Wiring and Connections.
Yes. So I obviously we have a website, gswandc.com. But to get on a personal level, so that way everybody knows you're pros, I would like for you to be contacted on Instagram at andr3s.g.s.w.c.
And you know what, folks? That's a mouthful. So we're going to put all that information to get in touch with Andres here in the description of the video. So if you are curious about what Andres offers, if you find yourself in Ventura County, Santa Barbara County, or even North LA County, hit this guy up. He is a consummate pro. He's a guy who understands the deal about why we do these videos here at Know Your Pros. And that's why we wanted to talk to him on this show today. Andres, you have been a killer guest, man. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you guys there, Opal. I appreciate it. This is great stuff you got going on.
Know Your Pros.